just like in real life. Get buttonholes.
That's right. Welcome to this edition of the WFL Update. I'm your host, Kyle Walsh. This week we will hear from Dr. Matthew Mayo as he gives us an update on injuries, and Jamie and I will give you our predictions as to whom we think will win. Now let's get on to this week's top games. In a potential World War II matchup, one of the longest-standing WFL rivalries will play their most important game in the rivalry's history when Delaware travels to Louisville this weekend. Louisville hasn't lost at home since their home opener and hasn't lost a game in 6 weeks. Delaware is coming off a 32-14 victory over Boston. This game will be won at the line of scrimmage as the two best sackers, Rick O'Reilly and Houston Adondre, and the two best defensive lines as a whole look to rattle Skeletor Funk and Darius Ryder. The Destruction and the Wolfpack are the best two run defenses in the WFL, partly due to all their sacks on opposing quarterbacks. This matchup will certainly be very intriguing and is one of the only times these two teams play in the regular season. Both teams have a lot on the line this week as Sterling travels once again to pull the upset on the Maulers, this time in Boston. The Maulers lost to Sterling 19-16 in overtime a few weeks ago in another poor offensive showing. Boston has gotten the offense going a little bit more of late, but still ranks a miserable 15th in total offense. Both teams are in the bottom 5 in third down conversions and rushing yards per game. Whichever offense springs to life will take the win in a very important Atlantic Division battle that could ultimately decide the fate of third place in the Atlantic. The game of the week is Las Vegas at Osaka. The Shoguns circled this day on their calendar at the very beginning of the season. March 11th is the anniversary, a somber one, of the tsunami and earthquake that ravaged the country in 2011. In 2012, the Osaka Shoguns have lifted up the country once devastated with a 6-2 start to their first season campaign. The Shoguns will be wearing numerous uniforms that celebrate the country's flag's colors, red and white. The matchup isn't half bad either. The Diablos come in as the enemy, more so than ever before, in these two teams' first ever matchup. Connor Pyatt, who has become a hero to Japanese people. The big question is, can he hold up to that reputation, or will he fall flat on his face? Despite losing Michael O'Connor 2 weeks ago, the Diablos are still number 2 in scoring offense and number 3 in total offense. The Diablos do, however, have the 5th worst pass defense, so expect another Pacific shootout on a special day in Japan. Kickoff in the United States is 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. And here are our picks for Week 9. First up is Philadelphia at Cincinnati. This should be a pretty good game. Both teams have pretty good offenses. Defenses are pretty good.
I don't really know what to say about this game. I'm just going to go with Cincinnati, I think. I went against Cincinnati last week, and I think they proved me that they're a good team. And I think that they have what it takes to beat Philadelphia and finally get them off of their top record. I think that they're not going to win this game.
Like I said, it should be a good game. I think Cincinnati is going to win. Got to go with Cincinnati. I just think Philadelphia, they're winning too. Well, even though they did beat the crap out of Baltimore last week, 45-14. But I don't know. I still think I'm just going to go with Cincinnati.
Okay. Next we have Delaware at Louisville. It's going to be a really good game.
That should be another really good game. Delaware's defensive line is just killing it. I
really think Delaware is going to win this. I do think. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Delaware as well. I just think that unless Louisville's offensive line can keep a pocket for Funk, I don't see it.
I think it's gonna be a good game to watch. I'm definitely gonna be there to watch that game.
I think it's gonna be a good game as well. Next we have St. Louis at Los Angeles.
Someone's got to win.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, I feel so sorry for you. I mean, how many times do you have to get so close to winning just to have that win ripped away from you? They have to gain their momentum or do something. It's stopping people in the fourth quarter. I mean, They're losing it at the very end.
Yeah. And St. Louis made a pretty good trade. They picked up Marcus Forte this week from Cincinnati.
It's true.
So we'll have to see how he does in this new offense for them. I'm actually going to give St. Louis the first win this week. I'm going to go in their first win.
I'm going to have to go against you on this. Actually, I don't know. It's hard because I kind of want to say St. Louis because, like you said, they've been making some pretty decent trades. And I think, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. And Los Angeles just can't capitalize on winning these games.
They get, like you said earlier, they get so close and then they just let it go in the end.
But I think I'm going to have to end up going with LA in the long run.
LA? Mm-hmm. I'm still going to say St. Louis will get their first win this week.
We have Sterling at Boston.
Sterling and Boston.
Sterling beat Boston before.
Yeah, they could do it again. But I think Boston's finally starting to get a little bit of their offense going.
A little bit.
A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. I think I'm gonna go with Boston on this one.
I agree. I think Boston has something to prove and come back and win this, and I think that they can do it.
All right, and in our game of the week, we have the Las Vegas Diablos going to the Osaka Shoguns.
It's going to be a good game.
Should be a really good game.
I think so. This is something that is very important to the Osaka Shoguns. Being the week of the anniversary, or the day of the anniversary of the tsunami and earthquake, I think it's going to be a sad day, but a happy day, and hopefully they can pull it out and win.
I agree. I hope they can win as well.
I'm going with Osaka.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Osaka as well. Las Vegas just doesn't seem to be the same team. They're still putting up good yards. They're
a great team. I don't.
But they just can't finish a game. They just can't seem to keep the winning streak going with Price as quarterback.
I think the big reason I'm going with Osaka is just because I think that they have the drive and the emotion behind this game to win it.
Yeah, I agree. And that does it for this week's games. For the first time, we have byes this week. On bye this week is the Baltimore Battle Wings, Chicago Ghosts, the Cleveland Stallions, the Edmonton Chill, Minnesota Spartans, and the Queen City Corsairs.
WFL fans, check out our other forms of league media with the WFL Pulse on Blog Talk Radio every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Central with Cameron Irvine and Chet You Betcha, hosting a competitive banner like no one else can provide. The Ace Report podcast is available for download every Monday with host Ace Worlds. Ace breaks down the week that was in the WFL and gives its credit where credit is due. Inside the WFL podcast is available for download every Tuesday with host Ronnie Nickens. Nickens will dig deep into the next week's slate of games and look back at the weeks past. Also, WFL YouTube has you covered for top 10 plays and, of course, the WFL Update, which is new every Wednesday. Watch every game live on the WFL Network at www.justin.tv/WFLfootball. And visit the website daily for new articles, podcasts, and more at www.wflfootball.com.
And that does it for us this week. From our WFL Update studios in Orlando, Florida, I am your host, Kyle Walsh. Enjoy all this week's games.